American man. No one pay attention to what's in my head. I got a voice inside that needs to be fed. It's causing chaos everywhere I land. I got a fever. I got a fever.
What's up, Jordan? Welcome to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's our man, Jordan Maxson. Jordan, we are back. How you feeling, buddy?
We are back.
Down.
Horns
down.
Horns all the way down, brother. Hey, it's good to be back.
Excited to be here with you today, man. Ohio State beats Texas last night 28-14 in a back and forth game. It was a lot of highs and lows, buddy, last night. I mean, you know, for a majority of the game, it felt like Ohio State was in control and just, you know, penalties here, drive-killing penalties continued throughout the game, and it just felt like we were the ones letting Texas into the game. Ewers had a couple nice wheel routes to the running back that got their scores. Jordan, how are you feeling now that we've given it some time? Some of that crazy energy is given us.
I'm feeling great. I was a little bit worried. We came out in the first quarter, pure dominance, stopped them on fourth down. Big momentum swing, came down the field, got the running game going. I didn't agree with it in the beginning, but I saw the light. Got to establish the run to kind of open things up when it comes to Texas's defense. Right. Everything was beautiful, and like you said, Texas just kind of hung around. Their interior defensive line gave our guards some fits, especially on the right side. Us playing with a backup where our starters in the center, so there was a lot of concern there, but we found a way. Our defense, Doug, is phenomenal. I believe it was like 12 sacks in the last 9 quarters going into that game. I believe we sacked Ewers 4 times. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. This was honestly the test in this championship run that the Buckeyes needed, because we stomped Tennessee, we stomped Oregon, so they needed a little bit of pushback going into playing Notre Dame. So I think this was the iron sharpening iron cliche that Ohio State needed in this run.
And I'm glad you said that, because like you said, Ohio State, playing great football. 100% playing great football, lights out football on both ends of the field, but they hadn't been tested like this against Tennessee and Oregon, and Texas 100% tested them. Texas's defense is the best defense we played so far. Their offense, hit or miss. They were missing a wide receiver. He kind of played in and out of the game, but their physicality was what I thought was most important for Ohio State, is matching their physicality. Being able to be as physical as a Texas team is important, because in the trenches, those guys are massive. They are talented. And I think Ohio State matched them in every single way. And I thought that was extremely important. So I'm glad you brought that up. Jordan, going into the half, it was going to be a 7-7 tie going into the half. And then momentum shift out just incredible play, individual play by Henderson. Not an individual play, because the blocking was set up so perfectly and Texas was in the perfect defense, but the individual speed that TreVeyon Henderson has to get out and make that play, phenomenal, because he had a really bad mistake early in the game. That headbutt, face shove, that penalty killed a drive. I mean, Ohio State was killing themselves with penalties, but right before the half, screen pass to Henderson. It's set up perfectly. The linemen are out blocking. Everybody's going the right way. Massive momentum shift going into halftime. How were you feeling at that moment? Because that shifted a lot.
Doug, I was terrified. Texas came down, tied the game. Things looked like they were spiraling kind of a little bit, I won't say out of control, because we were kind of shooting ourselves. So I kind of kept that in the back of my mind. But like you said, something that you'll never see, Texas going into a zero coverage blitz before the half. I mean, for any team on any level, Doug, that's extremely uncharacteristic. And to call a halfback screen, which is basically a glorified halfback slip screen, and having the offensive lineman that far out in front and just making that athletic play, unbelievable. That's something that, Ryan Day will never really get that lucky again Whether it was Ryan Day or Chip Kelly, we'll never know. But just unbelievable momentum switch, especially with us getting the ball in the third quarter. Although we didn't come out and score in the third quarter, it was a momentum shift we needed because it re-energized the defense, which has been, at that point was kind of on the field and losing the field position battle,
Yeah.
Late in the second quarter because we were shooting ourselves in the foot. So it was really, really just unbelievable to see. And, Henderson gets that recognition. Everybody gets that bad taste out of their mouth from his penalty. We get back with momentum. Will Howard's hand, everything that's sore starts to feel a little bit better when you make that play. And just, really congratulations to that guy on that makeshift offensive line to be that far out in front of the Texas defenders. I was unbelievably happy. How did you feel?
It re-energized the offense, like you just said. And for a second there, the offense had gotten bogged down a little bit. If you look at it, to end the half, I think Texas and Ohio State, we scored on our first possession. After that, it was Texas punt, Ohio State punt, Texas punt, Ohio State punt, Texas punt. I mean, there was 10 punts in a row there before Texas went down and tied the game late in the second quarter. And then Ohio State, gets the big touchdown. So for a while there, it's just punch, counter punch on defense. Both defenses doing their job. It felt like Ohio State struggled a little bit in the idea that Texas bracketed Jeremiah Smith the entire game. They dropped linebackers back into coverage the entire game. We saw that at the opening of the third quarter when Howard threw that interception. Linebackers dropped and he didn't see it fast enough and he threw it in and tried to force it to Jeremiah Smith to get him going. A bad decision, but overall I thought Will Howard was pretty good decision wise. But the way they were covering and trying to bracket and take away everything Jeremiah Smith could do was impressive in my opinion. They played great defense. I want to give them credit for that. But that's where it opened up things for a guy who you talked about, Carnell Tate, a guy who doesn't get talked about a lot because Abuka and Jeremiah Smith are so good. Carnell Tate was clutch all game. I mean, he had big catches. I thought G. Scott in his, had 5 catches, but all 5 of his catches I felt were important catches. There was that third down catch where he fought for extra yards to make it 4th and 2, 4th and 3. That was probably going to go unnoticed long term, but a massive, massive play. So it was an effort by everybody to get it done against this talented Texas team. And man, I'll tell you what, when it was 7-7, I was like, oh shit, this Texas team they are good and they can get some momentum going. But it felt like this is the first time in the Ryan Day era, outside of probably the Georgia championship game where we lost by the field goal, that we fought back. We continued to fight. We never got taken out of the game. And it's been a long time since that. We've seen some Ryan Day teams really fold, and it just wasn't going to happen tonight. And we got, some plays went our way. That taunting penalty, I don't think you should call that. That was pretty soft in my opinion. That killed a Texas drive. So a couple things didn't go our way, but again, that doesn't take away from the fact that we were Texas's best ally a majority of the night, in terms of our penalties and things like that. Where did you see the game really separate? What was the big separating factor for Ohio State and the way they were able to win this game?
The big separating factor was the 4th and 2 call. Will Howard keeping it. Unfortunately, he slipped there before the score. I couldn't believe it. I think you and I were live texting back and forth. Just jaw drops out. But for me, that was the turning point because I feel like in the old Ryan Day regime, even 2 years ago, or back in that Texas game, back in that Georgia game, where we kicked that 52-yarder and we missed it. That was about the length that they would have had to kick it.
Yeah.
And those were the points. Take the points versus take the yardage. And
right.
Once again, just like kind of we saw against Oregon when we were up, going for it on 4th and short. And really telling your team it's do or die time right now. That was the turning point for me. Once Will Howard made that and we finished that drive, you just saw everything re-energized. We had kept the ball for over 7 minutes for time of possession on that drive. The defense got much needed rest, even though Texas came out and drove it to, which we'll recap. Texas came out and made their own drive, which ended in our favor. But that to me, that was the real turning point. And I know that soft penalty, that taunting, but seeing Henderson's reaction, I think there was a lot of jawing that
Oh,
went
for sure.
kind of unscripted and unsaid, and I think that was kind of the ref's way of saying, hey, we're done with it. We let you do it for 3+ quarters. The jawing that it led to a penalty against Ohio State, so I think that was kind of their great equalizer. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're done. We're done with the BS. So yeah, it was a soft call, but I think that was a call where the refs were like, "Hey, we're reeling this back in. It's a competitive game. Let's not get that way." So I kind of credit the refs for doing that. I know it went in our favor, but at the end of the day, you got to control both sides of the ball on both
For sure.
teams. So I think that was the right call. Given the jawing that was going on,
Okay.
and that was a leak
I
out.
think that's okay. I think that's fair. I just thought it was extremely soft
It's
in a college
soft.
football semifinal, but it went our way, Jordan. So I'm only going to go so far with that. Late in the fourth, let's talk about that final possession because it will go down as probably one of the greatest defensive stands in football history or call it, Ohio State history. Texas starts that drive at the 25. They're going down. They get that unsportsmanlike penalty after the 34-yard gain. In between there, we got that pass interference call, 2 pass interference calls against us in the red zone. Those ended up saving us probably 7 points, Jordan. Now that we look back on it and we can kind of reflect, those were smart plays by the secondary because they gave our defense our chance to realign, get everything focused again, and refocus on stopping the Texas offense. Jarrett Gibson on that first run, no gain up the middle. 7-yard loss from Wisner, the running back, where Caleb Downs makes his great play and forces him outside to try to bounce it out. And the rest of the defense is able to swarm and get him for a 7-yard stop. Incomplete pass from Ewers to Wingo. That was a nice breakup. And then Jack Sawyer carves his name into history, Jordan, with the strip sack. It's 83-yard strip sack touchdown return. It was incredible stuff. The peak of Jack Sawyer's powers, it bounced right into his lap and he was gone. Hearing him say, I almost blacked out, because it was just, there was so much green in front of him. Incredibly awesome play to seal the game, to put this one away and send us to the national championship. Jack Sawyer took some criticism, some stuff on the chin, after the Michigan game, the way Ohio State played. To me, that's a distant memory now. We're going to talk about this just briefly here for a second, but Jack Sawyer cements himself as one of the all-time Buckeyes with a game-sealing 83-yard scoop and score to win the game, Jordan. The emotions, man. I was up, I was walking around, I was pacing. After that play, I wanted to go out and do something. I don't know. I had this crazy energy after that. How did you feel watching, and take me through those final moments of the game-sealing play by Jack Sawyer?
Leading up to that play, Doug, just like you said, the pass interference calls, the penalties. I was pulling out what little hair I have left on my head because of my military cut and just age. So I was pacing, I was walking around. I was like, man, I was having flashbacks to like every Ryan Day greatest hits era where we just kind of fold. And like you said, it wound up being a saving grace. The defense got it back together. Texas thought they were going to challenge our defensive line, and Jack Sawyer forever submits himself. I mean, it's what Sam Hubbard did against the Ravens a couple of years ago,
Right.
2.0 in college. He gets it. He runs. Thank God he doesn't fall. The defensive linemen were with him. The linebackers were with him.
It was incredible.
Styles was with him. Absolutely incredible. And I don't want to take anything away just from Jack Sawyer, but JTT Toamoa coming back out and really cementing his legacy coming out of injury because he was out for a few plays.
He got the ankle rolled up on.
He had the ankle rolled up. He was struggling coming out and being part of that as well because those two were a tag team all night long. And really this is their stamp because before that, like you said, such a distant memory, but the lost Michigan games, the 0 sacks and the Michigan games that they registered throughout their careers, coming 4-star, 5-star recruits. All that is gone now. They've they've cemented everything that they've come to Ohio State and that they were advertised to do. They have done on this absolutely incredible run. So, just absolutely, I just can't believe it that what a scoop and score. And regardless if it's trash time or not, sealing it with an interception from Caleb Downs, the transfer from Alabama.
Phenomenal.
It just washes all of the questions out of our mouths of the defense that's been so wishy-washy all year long.
And that's what I texted during, early in the game when we were seeing this level of defense. Like I told you in the text, I don't know if that level of play defensively is sustainable for 12 games. I understand, you can play at a certain tier, where, you don't try to get below that. But this level of defense, I don't know if you could play this hard for that kind of, because there's some breaks in between these games that are a little longer than regular season. There's some added days off that I think give you the ability to play just like your hair's on fire for these 60 minutes. Do you think that's a possibility, Jordan? Is, hey, we expect great defense all season, but there's got to be one more gear when it comes to playoff time. And I think we've seen that. Do you feel the same way? Because again, this level of defense is something we don't get to see very often. So what are your thoughts there?
Doug, I don't think it's sustainable for a regular season play, but in the play of there is no tomorrow, there is no tomorrow. It's that Rocky 3 moment. When Creed's yelling at Rocky.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it's at. So they're able to play like there is no tomorrow, because you don't know that this is going to be your last play at Ohio State. This is going to be your last play in the run. And especially with it being such a veteran defense, such a senior-led, front, both in the linebacker position and the defensive line, they're able to play freely. I'm seeing guys that were so wound up so tight all year long, and now they can play freely. Now they can be like, all right, whether my mistake is a mistake or it's good, they're going 110 miles an hour. They're this team that we wanted to see all year long get to that level. So, yeah, I think the playoff atmosphere, especially the expanded, format, this has been nothing but greatness all across the board. I know a couple of the early games, people are going to say, this and that, but from a player standpoint, it gives the players and the coaches to coach in an environment that they've never been able to do in college. So this has been excellent, and we're finally kind of seeing the results of that when it comes to big-time recruits.
100%. Excellent defense, like we said. Jordan, before we touch on the next game, you and I critical of Coach Day throughout the season. We've expected more. We expected, things like this to be, to happen all the time. The loss to Michigan was really tough. It was really tough. And we're on the Fire Day bandwagon. And you went on the Carter cast and talked about it, and you said it was national championship or bust. Is it still national championship or bust for Coach Ryan Day for you?
Yes, Doug. I'd say 110% is national championship or bust, and that's because of even the road that we've taken. Beating 2 of the top 3 SEC teams in this gauntlet of games that we've gone. Potentially now beating 6 teams out of the 12 field in the regular season and postseason play all over. It has to be national championship or bust. The donors expect that. The NIL world expects that.
So if we lose to Notre Dame, you want Ryan Day fired?
I hate saying it that way, but yes, if we lose to Notre Dame, I can't backtrack what I've been saying all year. If we lose to Notre Dame, if we drop this game in a game by the stat sheet and by the talent wise that we should be able to win, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy one by any stretch. Notre Dame's got a hell of a defense, but it's got to be win or nothing, because this is not just Ryan Day's been here for a year or two. This is Ryan Day's career defining moment that all culminates to must win a championship in 2025 under the new 12 play format. It's got to happen this year. It's got to be championship or bust. I can't take the wheels and put it in reverse because we're seeing, a fantastic run. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's been a fantastic coach. He's made the adjustments. Him and Chip Kelly have gotten out of each other's way. Give them their roses, give them their flowers, Doug. But it's got to be championship or bust. And I just can't back away from that. How do you feel about that?
You know, it's been an incredible run, and you get those rose color glasses on, and he's won some really big games in this stretch. But if you don't finish it off, if you don't finish this win against Notre Dame and win the national championship, you still lost to your rival on a down year. Yeah. I don't know. It's tough for me to say. I think it has. I think you have to finish the deal, like you said. I think you have to become the national champion this year, or else it's over. Maybe he takes off to an NFL job if he doesn't win this. Maybe, and that kind of saves face for him. But it is national championship or bust. I think you're right there, and that's tough for me to say because it's been a fucking great run, and we haven't dropped an F-bomb today, but it's been a damn good run, and you got to seal the deal, in my opinion. And Ohio State, they know this Notre Dame team. Riley Leonard is a different quarterback than they faced last year, but this is a rematch of a really tight game they played last year. Notre Dame's been talking about they want to play the best team in the country. Well, they got their chance. So Ryan Day, the Buckeyes, they've got to seal the deal, in my opinion, or there's going to be some more hard conversations because if you're going to lose to Michigan, you're 1-4 against Michigan, and you can't seal the national championship, I don't know how long you can be the coach at Ohio State. If you're able to win the national championship, I think it takes those feelings away against Michigan. I think that makes that game mean a lot less because I'd rather be a national champion than just beat my rival. I think to me that means a lot more. But if you can't seal that national championship, then yeah, that Michigan game means a fuck ton. So, yeah, I'm with you there, Jordan. It's really tough, man. You beat Tennessee, you beat Oregon, you beat Texas, teams that are all superior by over Michigan. But it comes back to you've got to finish it off. You've got to become the national champion this year
because he has to get away from the narrative, and the narrative is he can. The narrative is he can beat every team in the Big Ten and have a winning record against the AP polls, but not finish the games. And for him to continue at Ohio State successfully, especially on the recruiting trail, and like you said, those hard conversations of, well, you didn't beat Michigan this year, you didn't participate in the Big Ten championship game this year, and we slipped into the playoffs by the skin of our teeth, which was a little higher than that, but
yeah,
all things considering, that you were the third best team in the Big Ten, you got in. So that it's not always going to be like that every year. The SEC may rally back next season, and their teams may be more dominant. Their third team, fourth team may be more dominant than the Big Ten. So he has to watch that narrative out. And okay, now I can finish games. Now I'm here to stay. Now I've established my guy. I brought Chip Kelly in. I brought this defense in. I brought the coordinator in. I got my recruits in. It's been a couple seasons now. This is 110% my team. This is the direction I want to take it. And it has to be stamped with a national championship win to move forward for anybody to give them the right graces, even though it's been a hell of a run.
Well said. And I think you stamped it pretty well. Jordan, I think we're going to come on and we're going to talk about this game next week. We're going to get into the X's and O's. We're going to get a prediction, hopefully Thursday night, maybe Friday night, depending on, what's going on that week. But we are going to be back. We're going to break down the national championship game. The Ohio State Buckeyes take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, a battle of blue bloods. Marcus Freeman, former Ohio State linebacker. There's a lot of things here built up. Ohio State opened as a 9.5-point favorite. That's a little steep, but given everything we know, Ohio State is the better team on paper, so I can see where they're at with that. But you and I will get into this much more next week. Guys, this has been Ohio Sports Talk, breaking down the incredible Ohio State victory over the Texas Longhorns last night. 65 live viewers tonight, Jordan. It was a pleasure to be back on with you. You've been doing a great job holding down the fort while I've been away. I appreciate your efforts. Your interview with Jim Tressel the other day was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Some of the work you've done in between has been really good. I appreciate you keeping the boat afloat. I'm going to try to work my way back into being a part of the on-screen version of Ohio Sports Talk. We appreciate everybody who tuned in today on a Saturday morning, 65 live viewers. That's great. Please check us out on YouTube. We're going to try to get more content going over there. Our TikTok, we do very well over there. So mock drafts, breakdowns of games, all kinds of things. Check us out over there. Instagram, still trying to figure out how Instagram works. And as always, you can find us on X. We enjoy the hell out of communicating, talking football, talking whatever sport with you guys over there. So thank you. This has been Ohio Sports Talk. I'm your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson.
Yes, sir.
And it's a great day to be a Buckeye.
Yes, sir.
Horns down, baby. All right. See you guys next time. Thank you.